The Paracave Podcast, proudly brought to you by major sponsor Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Eels Club, Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty, BTZD Clothing, and the official media partner of the Paracave Podcast, the Parramatta Times.
Welcome to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. And now over to your host, Troy Warner, broadcasting live from the world-famous Paracave.
And yes, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. Troy Warner here, and today it is the interview-based podcast, and we are going back to the fans and members series of interviews where I interview either a celebrity fan of a rugby league team or just your everyday, normal, average Joe supporter of rugby league like myself. And today I have a massive Parramatta Eels fan. He is a great bloke. I have been at games with him before and caught up interstate as well, and he is a very passionate rugby league man, and in particular the Parramatta Eels, and his name is Mr. Charlie Calleja. Now Charlie came out to the Paracave the other night and we did a interview together about his love for the Parramatta Eels, both former players, current players, the current situation at Parramatta, favourite coaches, the coaching future of Brad Arthur, and a lot of other things as well. So I really hope that you enjoy this episode with a fan of rugby league, and Charlie is certainly that. I hope to catch up with him at another game or two throughout the year at CommBank Stadium, and I really appreciate him coming out to the Paracave for the episode. And of course this wouldn't be at all possible without the help and support of the sponsors of the podcast, Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Eels Club, Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty, BTZD Teamwear, the Parramatta Times, the official media partner of the Paracave Podcast, and leaguetees.com.au. Suppliers and great, they have a range of great retro rugby league and all other sports as well t-shirts, so check them out as well. But look, that is enough of me talking. You want to get into the interview with Charlie and listen to his rugby league story. So as Hindy says,
get a beer, coffee, whatever you want.
Sit back, relax and enjoy, and let's get straight into it. And today on the podcast, I'm going back to the fans and members series on the podcast because I really love talking to fans of rugby league, because I guess without the fans of rugby league, you don't really have a game. You could say that about referees as well, but it's the fans that I love talking to because it gives memories back to them whilst they're talking to me, and also brings back memories for me as well. So even better today, I've got a Parramatta Eels fan, a massive Parramatta Eels fan, so I love talking about the Parramatta Eels, obviously with myself being a Parramatta Eels fan, and it's his first podcast, so don't worry, don't be nervous, I'm not going to ask the hard questions, but welcome to the Paracave Podcast, Mr. Charlie Calleja.
Cheers, Troy, appreciate it.
Okay, so let's get started with, we'll go back to the start. When and how did you start supporting the Parramatta Eels?
Well, I've been a big fan all my life, and my father is a big Parramatta fan. So, 2001 grand final, I was decked out in the Parramatta clothes, and ever since then, I've loved the Eels.
Nice. So 2001, that was your first season supporting the Eels?
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, not a bad season to support the Eels. I mean, obviously, the grand final wasn't a good result, but the season certainly was a great season, a record-breaking season. What stood out for you in that 2001 season?
Just the amazing run we were having in the back end of the season. I love it when they go on a run, and that's what made me love the blue and gold, the fans, the players of that time. I was very young, so I can't remember too many of the players, but I just enjoyed the colours, the blue and gold, and yeah, I loved it.
So now that you're a little bit older, have you gone back and watched anything from 2001?
I have.
Yeah?
I've gone on YouTube and watched the highlights of their games and the run. And yeah, we done very well that year.
Yeah, no, definitely. Who were then some of your favourite players from that 2001 season?
Highmarsh, Kalis, Burt, Jason Taylor.
Yeah. What was the game that stood out for you in that season? I mean, obviously the grand final stands out for a lot of people for the wrong reasons. Still an amazing achievement, I reckon, making the grand final. But is there a game during that year that really stands out, or a moment that stands out from 2001?
Probably the game where we went to Leichhardt Oval and we absolutely thrashed the Tigers.
Yeah. I think that was 66-12, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah. No, that was certainly a great game there. So obviously from 2001, you supported the Eels from then on. A couple of good seasons there, and 2005 made the prelim again. Not so much good news there, beaten by the Cowboys, unfortunately. But who were some of your favourite players through that mid-2000s period?
Well, I loved Fui.
Oh, yes.
Highmarsh himself. Ben Smith.
Okay, yeah.
I liked Ben Smith. And Eric Growth Jr.
Oh, yes.
Growing up, yeah.
Can you believe now that Eric Jr. is coaching?
Yeah, well, good on him, I guess.
Yeah, I know.
Coaching with his father.
Yeah, out at the Campbelltown City Kangaroos women's team. So the two gurus there in charge, looking at him playing, I never thought he'd be a coach in his later life, but he is there. So obviously then going to 2009, that would have been a standout year for yourself as a supporter?
Yes, definitely. That year, no one gave us a chance in the back end of the year, and we came out and went on a miracle run, really.
What were your thoughts at the start of the year when it started off pretty slow? I think at one stage we were second last or something like that. Yeah.
Similar to the current times right now. Starting off slow, and everyone just rid us off, and we made that run.
Did you make it to the grand final in 2009?
No, I ended up watching it at home with my family.
Okay, yeah.
That 09 grand final. But it was just amazing off the back of Jared Hayne and what he done, as well as the other players. They all combined really well in that year in the back end, and just that second phase footy.
Yeah.
Feliti Mateo.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Christian Inu. You know, all those players, they're the players that I idolise, especially that year. You know, I was so young, but I can remember that year, you know, and it was amazing. The game against the Tigers, when Jared Hayne done that chip and chase.
Oh, yeah, that was a great try, that one.
I can just recall myself in the backyard how many times practising that chip kick. I loved it, yeah.
Yeah, that was certainly a great season as well. Again, falling short of the grand final. making the grand final from 8th spot. I think the first time a team had done that. It certainly was an amazing run. What have been some of your favourite games? What have been some of your favourite home games that you've gone to?
Well, one in 2009 where we played Newcastle, and we were on that run at that time. Fui scored the try under the sticks. I remember in the Sterlo Terrace, it was just amazing. That sticks out to me. And there was another game as well later on. It was the game in 2014 where Manly played Para, and they cross-field kick. Semi Radraja catches it, goes all the way. That's one of my favourite tries of all time too.
Yeah, he certainly did score some great tries. Just how good a player was Semi?
He was amazing.
Is that your favourite Semi try?
That is.
Yeah?
That one is, yeah.
The one against South Sydney a few years later is pretty good as well.
That's my second favourite one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is a good try as well. Where I think he was weaving in and out, and just went the length of the field. And Sterlo in the commentaries going, "Don't pass it, just keep going, keep going." So, that's for sure. What about at the new stadium, CommBank Stadium? What's been your favourite memory of CommBank Stadium?
It's hard to go past the first game.
Yeah, that does get mentioned a lot. Yeah.
That Moses try, just amazing that try. And you couldn't picture it better, the first try at the new stadium, and he was running to the corner, crowd going ballistic. He's the sheer passion when he scored that try. It's amazing, and you feel that as a fan.
Yeah, it was just the 5-year anniversary just the other day of that first game at CommBank, Bank West as it was known then, and obviously that try. Can't believe it's been 5 years. It's gone so fast. But another one that sticks out obviously is the 58-0 against the Broncos in the final. A few people say that one as well. What's your thoughts on the current stadium compared to Parramatta Stadium?
Look, I always loved the old stadium, and it had the good suburban feel to it. Growing up as a kid in the old stadium in the Sterlo Terrace, I loved it. But this new stadium is brilliant. Like, CommBank Stadium is state-of-the-art. It's first-class facilities. You can sit anywhere in there and you can view the game, no problem at all.
And I do believe, do you sit up with the Swarm, do you still?
Yep.
Because the Eels supporter section, what's it like being in that section at a game?
It's great because we generate an atmosphere throughout the stadium. We have the drum, we have the flags, and we get the boys going on the field, and I love that. I love just generating that atmosphere, the electric atmosphere that we all love. Yeah. And especially when they're winning and they're up, it's hard to beat.
Yeah, no, certainly I sit at the other end of the stadium, and I can certainly hear you guys generate that noise, and that's what we need. That's what we need. We need the fans to generate the noise for the players on the field, and something that's generic, not over the PA system. Definitely generic is the way to go, because I mean that's what all chants are for, I guess. Like it's like you shouldn't be told to chant.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, you should just generically do it, and no doubt, and you guys do that at the stadium, and it does. It goes around the ground and gets people going, which is for sure. What about away games? Because I have seen you at a few away games, and we have caught up at a few away games. What about a favourite Eels away game that you've been to?
Favourite Eels away game? Probably against Manly. I can't recall the year exact, but we were outsiders, complete outsiders, I'm pretty sure it was a couple of years back, 2019. One of those years where we used to go there and get belted.
Yeah.
But we ended up winning.
Okay.
I think it was 2017.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I know, because I think the year after it was a bad result. That's when Mitchell Moses got sin bin, I think, twice, and it was 40 degrees plus heat, and but that 2017 one certainly does stand out. Is there any interstate games that stand out for you that you've been to, Parramatta-wise?
I love Magic Round. The year when we won against the Warriors, that was pretty good, because considering all the other years we haven't done too well up there. Melbourne's, I don't personally like going to Melbourne because of my experiences down there, but interstate, Brisbane. I like the vibe up there in Brisbane.
Yeah, Brisbane's my favourite away trip of the year. You headed up to Magic Round in a couple of weeks?
Definitely.
Yeah, I'll see you up there.
It's going to be great.
Absolutely playing the Melbourne Storm this year. Unfortunately, was it 2019? The big 64 to 12, I think. So we won't go there, obviously. But look, what about your favourite Parramatta jersey of all time? What's your favourite?
My favourite jersey? I like the 86 jersey.
Okay, yeah.
Even though that was before my time, I like that jersey.
Yeah.
Because it's the last time we've won the premiership, and those legends that bled for our club, they wore that jersey, and I respect that, and I love that jersey. Yeah,
that was my first jersey that I got, and that one does resonate with a lot of people, and I think it's probably the stripes across the chest that does it for a lot of people. For me, Parramatta is, stripes are synonymous with Parramatta. A Parramatta jersey to me has to have stripes.
Yes.
Because, you've got the Dragons, they've got the red V, they're known for that. I think Parramatta's known for stripes. So, that's definitely a good jersey. I think they've done a few replicas since that one. I think only a few years ago they did they wore it for the season, which looked pretty good, and a lot of people have said that they should go back to that. What's your thoughts about we see like the Dragons, they have the permanent red V jersey for their home games. The Roosters, they generally have their permanent red, white and blue sort of V jersey.
Yes.
As a fan, what's your thoughts about having a standard home jersey like in the 86 design every year, or do you prefer a different jersey each year or every couple of years?
No, I agree with that. I'd like a permanent jersey that everyone is happy with, and maybe alternate the away jersey.
Okay,
I personally don't like the white jersey, but I think we could do more with more gold in the jersey, more yellow.
The home one?
The home jersey,
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. As a fan too, what about the price of jerseys? What are you thinking of those? Because there's been a lot of debate about that, that it is too expensive, especially for families, to kit out their families in their jerseys. What are your thoughts on the price of jersey? How much should a jersey be in your opinion?
$100.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair price. I think $100 is a fair price, and say $80 for kids.
Yeah.
Smaller sizes. If I could add something, personally for me, and I know a lot of other people would probably be thinking the same thing, they should make a jersey for those people that are, bigger sizes and they don't really want to wear the skin tight jerseys.
Okay, yeah.
Like the players wear.
Yeah.
to make it comfortable for the fans, just to put a jersey on and you're comfortable in it. I just thought I'd add that.
No, that's fine, mate. That's fine. No, that's good. Great feedback there from a fan, for the fans as well. And I'm sure, as you said, there's probably plenty of people out there that don't like the skin-tight jerseys. I have tried on a couple of player jerseys that I have in here, and, yeah, they just are so tight on me. I cannot get them on at all. But, no, you're right. You need to cater for everyone. Speaking of jerseys, obviously I collect jerseys here in the Parra Cave. But what about yourself? Have you got a favourite piece of Eels memorabilia that is your prized possession?
My memorabilia would be my membership cards. I like to collect membership cards.
Yeah.
And from time and time again, I like to go through it and, remember that year. Then I'll go and watch highlights of my favourite game from that year. Yeah. And, I like membership cards. I think it's really, really nice to have.
Yeah,
to collect them.
Yeah, no, that's true. How long have you been a Parramatta Eels member for?
Since 2014.
Okay, yeah. And what, in your opinion, what is the importance of being a member of your football club?
Just that you show your support. I support this club. I'm a member of this club, and I want this club to do well. That's what I believe. A member should hold that as the highest value. I support this team. I bleed the blue and gold just like I hope the players do. And, yeah, just back your team and support your team.
Yeah, nice. It's sort of, you feel a part of the team, don't you, being a member?
Yes.
And you feel like you're contributing to the club as well. And yeah, Parramatta have had some membership records over the last few years. I think currently this year they're over 30,000 again, which is a pretty fair effort.
That's great.
I think about number 2 or 3 in the league. I think. Obviously, with Brisbane and South Sydney, they always seem to be right up there with memberships.
Yes.
Since 2001, there's been some coaches that Parramatta's had. We've had Brian Smith, Jason Taylor for a caretaker coach. We've had Michael Hagan, Daniel Anderson, Stephen Kearney, Ricky Stewart, and currently Brad Arthur. I think I've got all the coaches in that time there.
Yes.
Has there been a favourite coach during that time?
Some people might not agree, but I like Brad Arthur.
Yeah?
Yep. I think he's a good coach. He knows his footy. And I also like Daniel Anderson too in the 2009 season, in the way he let them play their game and not too much structure. So, yeah, Brad Arthur, Daniel Anderson.
Well, whilst we're talking about BA and Brad, BA. He certainly has been in the news the last few weeks, definitely, probably since the start of the year, to be honest, about pressure about him keeping his job. What are your thoughts on that one as a fan and member?
I don't think it's all to do with Brad Arthur, and I think he should play out the rest of his contract till the end of the season. And can I get into it?
Yeah, for sure.
I honestly think the biggest problem with our club has been going on for at least half a decade, and that is the recruitment and retention. We've let go of too many good players that'll just come in, do their job, get it done each week, and we've replaced them with players that are nowhere near that quality. And I'm talking about Ray Stone, Tom Opacek, and players like that will get in, do the job for you. And they're no-frills footballers, We've lost, Murata I can understand because he's gone to New Zealand and wanted to go home. But yeah, just we've replaced these players with players of not of that quality, you know. What's your thoughts as well on that one?
Look, definitely. I think there's been a few players that over the years I have definitely been disappointed to see let go. One that springs to mind is Manu Ma'u.
Yes.
I really liked him as a player. Unfortunately, he's over in England now. I didn't like it when Fui finished as well. That was a bit disappointing as well. And I think he's still playing over in England, I think, somewhere. And,
that bloke can go forever.
Yeah. But no, look, you're completely right. Look, for me, last year, it was probably... Look, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but someone like Reid Marnie, I don't know the ins and outs of that one. I've heard rumours that it was 50,000 more at the Bulldogs. I've heard it's 100,000, 150,000, so I don't know. So I don't know why he left. But to be honest, the way that he's playing at the moment, I'm probably glad that he's at the Bulldogs and not at Parramatta, because I don't like that sort of niggling player.
Yes.
But you're right, Murata wanted to go home to New Zealand. Unfortunately, Ray Stone, he went for opportunity to play first grade. Oregon Kafusi, he did the same thing. He went to Cronulla to get opportunity to play, be a starting prop at Cronulla. Isaiah Papali'i, I think he went for money, I think.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion. I could be wrong, but I have heard rumours that he wants to come back. But just on that, who else, what other players have there been from over the years that Parramatta have let go that you wish they would have stayed? Is there anyone else from apart from those names that we've mentioned?
Brad Takarangi.
Okay, yeah.
I liked him in the centres. I know towards back end he was getting a bit slower, but I loved that second phase play and the offload he would create. And he's just a strong, experienced player. Yeah.
It's a tough one to try and remember all the players. Okay, well, if you were coach or head of recruitment for Parramatta, and we'll take this year out of it, but previously, who would you have wanted to sign to come to play at Parramatta? So in previous years, and then we'll get to now and beyond.
Adam Reynolds.
Okay.
I liked Adam Reynolds. I still do. I think he's a very good game manager. And look, Moses, not taking anything off Moses, he's a great player for us. But personally, Adam Reynolds, I just think he steers the ship pretty well. Yeah.
Looking forward to next year. Obviously, this year's already gone in terms of recruitment, but next year and beyond, if there was a player that you could sign, don't worry about salary cap or anything like that. If there's a player that you could sign or players that you could sign to come to Parramatta, who would they be?
Reece Walsh.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Yeah.
Reece Walsh. Just Reece Walsh.
Okay. Yeah,
we need that X factor in our side.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's a great answer. I think he's going to stay up in Brisbane for a long time though. But if you had no salary cap, that'd be great to get him there. And for sure. Well, let's talk about the current team. Oh, sorry. Let's go back. Let's go with the coaching scenario.
Yeah.
If Brad Arthur isn't the coach of Parramatta in 2025, who do you think will be coach, and who would you want to be coach?
Look, I think earlier on I would have said Shane Flanagan, but that's done now. Wayne Bennett would be great on a 3-year deal. You know, you need at least a year to get the office in order, so to speak, because he'll put them in order. another year to get back into that mix. And then I reckon on the third year he'll deliver that premiership for us. Otherwise, Michael Checker, I think could be an option.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
The Walker brothers.
Why Michael Checker? Because he does coach rugby league. He coaches the Lebanese team.
Yep.
In rugby league, and he coaches the Argentinian team, I think, in rugby union. So he is more rugby union-esque. But why Michael Checker? That's an interesting one.
Maybe he might bring some players across, and players that wouldn't really be on the radars of other NRL sides. That's just my opinion on that. But I also like the Walker brothers too, because I think they'd suit our style. Because when we're at our best, we like to play that second phase footy, and Moses and Brown combining, switching sides. The chip kicks, just the odd things that you wouldn't expect. I think they could suit our style. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they obviously won a comp a few years ago now up in Queensland with a pretty radical style that I think some of the clubs are taking on now. Let's talk about the current team. Who's your favourite players in the current side of the Parramatta Eels?
Two blokes that are out injured.
Yeah.
Clint Gutherson, the king. I love him. He's all effort. Forget his knees for a second. He's all effort. He comes out regardless of the week, who you're playing against, where you are. He'll give you 80 minutes, and he'll try and get the other boys to do 80 minutes as well. And Moses is similar. Moses puts his effort in. You can tell. He loves Para, same as Gutho. And those two, they bleed for the jersey. That's what I believe.
Yeah, no, true. That's for sure. Heart and soul of the club. That's for sure. Gutho definitely puts his body on the line all the time. How do you think Parramatta are going to go for the next, say, month with both of them out?
It's going to be tough, but I think we should keep Sanders in there until Moses comes back. And I think we should put Bailey Simonson at fullback, just purely because he's a talker, and you need someone that's a talker at the back. What's your thoughts on it? What's your thoughts on it as well? I don't know.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I don't know. Do you go the young Blaze Talangi at fullback? A lot of people say he's inexperienced, but how are you going to gain experience? People want to keep him at the club, so obviously playing first grade, he's going to probably stay. Could be the future fullback of the club. I don't mind Bailey at fullback. That's a good shout.
Yeah.
He has played there before. And, yeah, I agree. Keep Ethan Sanders in until Moses comes back. I think he should have been there at the start when Moses went out, but I'm not too privy to the back room and what happened there, but I always believe that if you are the reserve grade halfback and your first grade halfback goes out, then for rep duties or injury or whatever, then your reserve grade halfback just goes straight in.
I agree. Yeah.
And yeah, it hasn't really worked with Dylan Brown at halfback, but I think it was one game. And yeah, I just would have done that.
I liked how we played against Manly before the back end of that game. Sanders slotted in perfectly. It's like he's been playing for 2 seasons. And, he took over that kicking aspect. He was calling the ball more than Dill was. And Dill was just doing his natural game. He was running. And that's what he is. He's a runner, and he's good at it. And, that combination should stay there until at least Moses comes back. Hypothetically, if we were to keep Sanders, I'd say put Sanders in the 6 and have Moses at 7 and shift Dylan Brown to fullback because he's a great cover defender and he can, he's really good at defence and he's a runner too, so he can chime in and inject himself at certain times of the game. And then obviously you'd shift Gutho to the centres purely to preserve him for a couple of seasons and Yeah, that's what I'd personally do. But we all know Sanders is going, so we got to make do with what we got at the moment.
So we're up to round 10 in the competition. Parramatta just had a bye last week, sitting in 12th spot on the ladder. A bit of a congested ladder at the moment around that 12th spot. How can you see Parramatta going in the next, say, few weeks? And then where do you see them finishing at the back end of the year?
The next couple of weeks, I'd say I'd give us a chance against Brisbane. And then there's some rumours going around that Moses will return against Melbourne. I'm not too sure how we'll go without Gutho at the back, because he does a lot. But if we can at least win 2 of the next 4, I'd say we could be going all right. And we're only 2 points out of the top 8 at the moment as it stands, so we're not that far away from finals. And I know many people think we're that far gone, but you just take a look at Rabbitohs and Titans. They're on 4 points. We're only 2 points from the top 8, and all it takes is for 1 win, 2 wins. How many upsets we've seen in the past few weeks, and we'd still be in that mix. I believe we're still there.
Yeah, I think, look, I'm pretty much an optimist, and it's not over till it's over.
That's right.
People say, you get the mathematical chance of making the 8, and until that mathematical chance is definitely not there, then you're still a chance, because you just never know what can happen. That's for sure. I mean, obviously your dream is probably like mine, and be able to celebrate a grand final victory. How do you think you would celebrate a grand final victory?
Mate, I wouldn't have a clue how I'd react. I'd probably be in tears initially, just pure joy. Look, if I can see one premiership before I go out of this world, I'll be happy. Just one.
Well,
and I know there's a whole generation that hasn't seen it as well.
Yeah, well, I can't guarantee that it'll happen, but I'm pretty confident it will happen at some stage.
Yeah.
And I'm like yourself, I just want to see one as well, and I don't know how I would celebrate a Parramatta Eels victory. So I know it was before your time, the 80s, the glory years, where we won 4 premierships, and you had players such as Kenny, Grove, Sterling, Price, Cronin, Ella, and I've probably missed a couple there, Growth. And so have you gone back and looked at those highlights of those grand finals from back in the day there?
I've watched every grand final, and I've rewatched it how many times, especially the 86 one.
Yeah. Is that your favourite of the premiership winning grand finals?
86.
Yeah.
Even though it was triallers, I think they toughed it out. They toughed it out. That team was pure legends. They bled for this jersey. They bled for the club, and they loved it. Yeah.
Have you had any interaction? Have you met any of these Eels legends and had a chat?
I did meet Ray Price and Brett Kenny a couple of years back in Magic Round at the Lord Alfred pre-match, and I was ecstatic. I was ecstatic just to see them and shake their hand and just say, you're a dead set legend of this club.
Did you have a question that you asked them?
Yeah, I asked them, do you think we can win the premiership? And of course they said, yes, definitely.
Yeah, no, they're certainly good blokes off the field as well. They always tend to get together each and every year, and it's just that camaraderie that they have between each other, which is great. Okay, so just getting back to crowd support at games. I know that at the moment Parramatta are going pretty bad, to be honest. And that always has a bearing on the crowd figures at games. But what would be your advice to fans, even if our team is not doing the best? What would your advice be?
Come and support the team. Support the club that you love. We know yous are all out there. Yeah, if you can make it, and, why not? Just come and support the team, chant, and get involved, because it's so important for the players to look up in the stands and see, yeah, the crowd's here, they're here to support us. And it gives them that extra boost. I think if you don't see too many fans around, or, the crowd's not really trying to get the players going, they might feel a bit dull. And, yeah, it's just very important. I'd say from a player's point of view, and even as a fan, I'd love to go to CommBank and see the place packed, just blue and gold everywhere. It's my favourite thing to see. I love it. I just love looking around at the crowd and trying to guess what the crowd is, what the figure is. That's one of my favourite things to do at games. It's just, the crowd, the atmosphere, especially when it's rocking over there, it's the best thing, and nothing compares to it.
Just how hard is it, though, to be motivated to go to a game when your team's not doing too well? How does that play in your mind, and what would your advice be to other fans?
Look, it is hard, especially if you're not doing well, but I'd still go just to support them. Just to be there and support them. You may win, you may be happy. If you lose and your team's not going too well, you kind of already expected it, so it wouldn't be too harsh on you. And especially if you're, local and you can get there, why not?
Good, definitely. Yeah, no, support your team, no matter how they're going, because the bad times make the good times even sweeter. That's what I always say.
Definitely.
And there's been a lot of bad times, I guess. It's been a long time between drinks. We'll do the quick top 10, which is basically sort of a yes-no sort of answer. You can elaborate on them if you wish. But we'll start with, what's your favourite, barbecue or tomato sauce?
Barbecue sauce.
Okay, so the other question to that one is, where do you keep it, in the fridge or in the cupboard?
In the fridge.
In the fridge, okay. I'm a cupboard guy. When you're on a plane, do you prefer the window seat or the aisle seat?
The aisle seat.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yeah, why not?
Nice. Are you a tea or coffee man?
Coffee.
Coffee? Yeah, what's your coffee of choice?
Cappuccino.
Okay, nice. Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone?
Oh, that's a tough one. I like both.
Yeah.
I'd say Sylvester Stallone in the Rocky films.
Nice. What's your favourite Rocky?
The original.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a Rocky 3 guy. McDonald's or KFC?
KFC.
Are you a morning or night person?
Depends. More night. I'd say more night, yeah.
Summer or winter guy?
Summer.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Seinfeld or Friends?
Friends.
And now we'll do the set of 6, and hoping there's not a extra tackle thrown in, extra question thrown in. What's your favourite sport outside of rugby league?
I like my soccer.
Okay, yeah.
I like to watch the soccer. I'm a Man City fan and a Western Sydney Wanderers fan, so I like watching that. Also GWS in the AFL. Yeah, they're my top 3 sports.
So all the Western Sydney teams, that's great.
Definitely.
That's great. I suppose just maybe chuck in the Sydney Thunder there as well with the cricket, maybe.
Why not?
Favourite holiday destination?
Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the Gold Coast. Always used to go up there as a kid, with the family, and I'd like to keep that tradition going. Yeah, I like the Gold Coast.
You going to get up there this year for the game at all?
Definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favourite Gold Coast game that you've been to up there?
2 years ago we won. There was a streaker on the field and the security guard went and tackled her, but I remember we were bashing the board there and ended up breaking it. But yeah, good memory, that one.
Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, I can always remember, seeing you guys, because generally when I go to the away games as well, I'm in the away bay as well, and you guys definitely create a great atmosphere as well. Okay, who would be the most famous person you'd love to meet and have a chat with? Now, alive or if they've passed. So who would you have loved to have had a chat with, or who would you love to have a chat with? Which famous person?
That's an interesting question. Famous person. I'd like to have a chat with our very own Ray Price again.
Yeah?
I just think that bloke is just tough as nails, tough as they come, and just that mentality that he had on the field and probably off the field. I just want to delve deeper into that, and yeah, I think that's a good attitude you could have towards anything in life too.
Well, hopefully he might be at the Lord Alfred again for Magic Round. But what would be one question you'd love to ask Ray if you had the opportunity?
I'd love to ask him why he didn't really get into coaching.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have loved to see him as a coach of Parramatta. I think he'd lead them really well.
Yeah, nice. That's a great question. I don't think anyone's ever asked him that, to be honest. I mean, I haven't heard him answer anything like that. So, yeah, definitely that would be a great question. Which three current Parramatta Eels players wouldn't you want to be stuck on a deserted island with?
Mike Acevo.
Okay.
Mike Acevo, probably Sean Lane, and Ryan Madison.
Yeah? What was that?
Purely because I don't think they're going too well at the moment. And I wouldn't want to be next to them.
Yeah, nah, especially with Matto with his shirt off, that's for sure. Yeah. What's your specialty dish in the kitchen or on the barbecue?
I love the barbecue. I
Yeah.
like cooking, stags and nice steaks. Chicken schnitzel. I love that.
Nice,
yeah,
nice.
schnitzel.
Good. And who's your favourite musician or band to listen to?
I like Kiss. Yeah. I went and saw their show last year.
Okay, yeah, their last one ever, I think,
The
in
last
Australia.
one ever, yeah. How many times they've said that before, but I'm pretty sure that would have been their last one. But yeah, me and the missus always listen to Kiss, and I like their songs. I don't think that if you're someone from my generation that you should be ashamed of listening to 80s music and the good rock songs. I like rock. I listen to a bit of everything, but Kiss would be.
What's your favourite Kiss song? That'll be hard.
I Was Made for Loving You.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Classic. And before we sign off, you've got your own business. Let's give that a plug. What is it? What's it called? And where can people find you?
Parradise Mowing Solutions, and we service all of Western Sydney. Find us on Facebook, TikTok or Instagram, and see our content, and happy to support any Parramatta podcast team, anyone that's a Para fan. I love to do the lawns for you, and anyone else out there too. I'd love to just come around, do your lawns, see you smile, and that gives me joy.
No, that's great. I used to be a lawn mowing contractor myself back in the day, the family business.
All right.
But that's a perfect business name, Parradise Mowing Solutions, and you can find them. Your handle is just Parradise Mowing Solutions, so that's even better. Nice and easy to follow and find. And look, I've been looking at your content, and you've certainly been doing some great jobs recently. And it's a great business to get involved in, and the logo looks great too. Great colours there as well.
Thanks for that.
So, yeah, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, if you need your lawns done. Is it just lawns that you do, or is it anything else that you do?
Just lawns and weed spraying. So
Okay.
come and spray the weeds if you have overgrown weeds on the side of the house, anywhere. Happy to come help you out. If you've got overgrown grass or know someone, happy to come and help you out as well. Just DM the page or give me a call. Got all my information up there on Facebook and on my social media channels. Happy to help you out, and go Para.
Beautiful. Awesome. Well, Charlie, thank you very much for joining me today and for coming out here to the Para Cave. I'll give you one of these, mate, a Para Cave podcast hat.
Cheers, mate.
For
Appreciate
being
it.
a guest on the podcast. And look, I've really enjoyed the chat. As I said before, it brings back memories for myself and the guest as well. And what better way to chat Parramatta? And let's hope that the boys can turn the season around and get some wins and put some smiles on our dials.
Definitely.
And hopefully we'll be there in the last weekend of October. So, Charlie Calleja, thank you very much for joining me today on
No
the
worries,
Parracave
mate.
podcast.
Appreciate it.
And welcome back, and thanks for listening to Charlie and his rugby league supporting story of his support for the Parramatta Eels. And as he mentioned in the podcast, he has his own business called Parradise Mowing Solutions. So you'll be able to find them on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. So check them out, give him a follow on there, and mention the podcast, and I'm sure he will give you a great deal as well for mowing your lawns. So thank you very much again, Charlie, for coming out to the Parracave podcast. Always great to catch up with you and have a chat all things Parramatta, and I'm sure we will catch up at CommBank Stadium throughout the year, and if not, definitely at Magic Round as well next week. But also, now you can hear the Parracave podcast on a website called rugbyleague.com. Now, there is no set time for podcasts, but if that's another avenue, that is another avenue that you can listen to the Parracave podcast. And look, what rugbyleague.com is, it is a 24-hour rugby league, basically radio station, except it has podcasts, it has live commentaries as well. So look, it's a 24-hour online rugby league where you can get news, phone-ins, podcasts, match commentaries. So check that one out for details. There's a hell of a lot of other podcasts on there as well. So if you love your rugby league, then check out rugbyleague.com and you'll be able to see some great content there. Also, if you can, please give the podcast a follow on Instagram and Facebook as well. That would be most appreciated. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast as well on the podcast platform that you are listening to. So whether that be Apple or Spotify. And if you can, please give a rating and review on that podcast platform that you listen to the Parracave podcast on. That would also be much appreciated as well. Now, you will have noticed that there is a bit of content coming out on the Parracave podcast throughout the week. There is the tipping podcast, there is the game day podcast, there is the interview-based podcast. And look, I'm looking to do some more content as much as I can and when I can as well. And as you would all be aware, that it is pretty hard to do a lot of content with it not being your full-time job, but I am trying my best and I really hope that you enjoy it. So look, I'm going to try and do some more content. I'm going to do some more content on Instagram as well, so I might even have some Q&As as well, so a Q&A podcast as well where you send in your questions and I can do a podcast, feature your name on the podcast and answer your questions as a fan to the best of my ability. And look, I'm happy to cover the NRL as well. There is also the chats I have with the Duckman about each round of the NRL, a preview on a Friday and a review on a Sunday night as well on Pulse FM 89.9 FM, so check that one out as well. But the replay chats come out on that podcast as well. So look, plenty of content, and look, if there's anything you would like me to cover as a fan of rugby league, please let me know. I'll get that to you to the best of my ability. Now, don't forget also too, the Paracave Podcast hats are still available for purchase, just $10 each. A great looking blue and gold looking hat, so you will see me wearing them in videos and the like, so you can purchase one of those now. Great little, Secret Santa gift or a quick birthday gift or something like that. Great looking hats. Just send me a message on one of the social media channels and I can get that one out to you. Just $10 plus postage and handling. And I really appreciate the support of those that have purchased those hats already. So thank you very much for that. Now, this is the podcast before Magic Round, which is happening in round 11 of the NRL. So next week there'll be more details about what's happening, but I will be up at Magic Round, so I'll be up there on the Saturday, and I'll also be there on the Sunday as well. So if you see me out and about, come and say good day, and look, we'll have a chat all things rugby league. Be great to catch up with a few listeners as well up there in Brisbane. I love going up to Brisbane. That's my favourite away trip for sure. So that's where I'll be. Cannot wait. Should be a great trip indeed. Look, I think that will do for this podcast. I really hope you enjoyed the chat with Charlie. And as I said, I love talking to rugby league fans. So if there is a rugby league fan that you think I should talk to, either being a celebrity or just an everyday Joe rugby league fan, please get in touch with me, let me know, and we'll see what we can do. Hoping to get some other former players lined up as well, some great guests coming your way, and some that you will really, really enjoy as well. Look, that's enough for me talking for this week, or this podcast anyway. So thank you very much for listening once again all around the world, because I know there's all the way around the world listeners, and thank you very much. And until the next podcast, take it easy, enjoy your football, and look, the Paracave Podcast, by the fan, for the fans. Go Para!
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. See you next time.